Hello everybody and welcome to Lost in Nightmares, which is the first lot of content that we will be doing for Resident Evil 5. You actually unlock this sort of halfway through the actual Resident Evil 5 campaign, but in the canon timeline it is actually set before the events of Resident Evil 5, so I'm going to do it as a little prelude to what happens in Resident Evil 5 just to set the game up, and it ties in very nicely with the end of Resident Evil Revelations. So yeah, we're going to hop right to it. I'm going to play single player offline. We're going to do normal mode. We can either play as Chris or as Jill. I'm going to play as Jill.
A few years ago, the BSAA received intel as to the whereabouts of Umbrella's founder, Oswell E. Spencer. Jill and I were ordered by the BSAA's European headquarters to apprehend him. We accepted that mission in the hopes of uncovering some info that would lead us to Wesker. Chris to HQ, come in. We're at the target's location.
Copy that, Chris. Move in and procure the target.
Roger that.
What can you tell us about the area?
The satellite scan isn't showing anything out of the ordinary, but regardless, you should expect the unexpected.
Understood. We're in.
Let's move.
Yes, this is Lost in Nightmares, the Spencer estate. As I said, I'm going to play as Jill because we were Jill in Resident Evil Revelations, and we're going to be playing as Chris an awful lot in Resident Evil 5, so it's nice to give Jill a little bit more time on screen. This blood's fresh. We may not blah 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 blah. There's a little thing that you can do here if you investigate the door. We do it a couple of times. There we go, you get a prompt which is strange, and it changes the camera angle to old school Resident Evil camera, but I find that really hard and really awkward to maneuver with new controls, so I'm going to put it back. We are not going to leave until we have completed this mission, so here we go. And it is locked from the inside. This may look a little bit familiar. Spencer has a unique taste. Right, so that's how we do that. Right, the knife is on this one. Okay. Take me a teeny little while just to get to grips with the controls, because in every game the controls are different. There is a start here to collect, and we need to pull this lever. It shall unlock the gates at the top of the door. All of these things. This door over here is locked, and there's a bit in there that looks like a crest. Head on upstairs. Nope.
Eagle 5 to Nest. Come in.
Go ahead, Eagle 5.
We've encountered some corpses, possibly Spencer's bodyguards. From what I can see, they appear to have been killed by unconventional means.
Roger that. We knew this mission wouldn't be a cakewalk. Use extreme caution.
Okay. We will. Someone must have busted the lock. We'll have to find another route. There are several ways around. I'm gonna go over this side first. Blood and guts is everywhere. Right, so this is pretty much the same inventory as you will have in Resident Evil 5. Or I say we should have in Resident Evil 5. It works in real time, so while I'm in the menu, things are still going on, I can still be attacked and the like, so it's case of be careful. There we go, that's how I do that. Have a shotgun. It's on my left. Let's see, if I move to the left, it will, if you select whatever you have in the top, on the sort of D-pad areas, you can easily select with the D-pad. So it's always good to keep your weapons in those areas for quick access to them. Played poker with Scott and Alias from security and Steve from research. Steve was the big winner, but he was cheating. That scumbag, one of the higher-ups, assigned me to take care of a new creature. It looks like a skinned gorilla to me. Scott said there'd been an accident in the basement lab. I just knew something like this would happen. Those bastards in research never sleep, even on the holidays. May 12th, 1998. I've been wearing this damn spacesuit yesterday. My skin is grimy and feels itchy all over. May 16th, 1988. Rumors going around the researcher who tried to escape last night was shot. My entire body feels hot and itchy. I'm sweating all the time. I scratched a swelling on my arm and a piece of rotten flesh just dropped off. What the hell is happening to me? It seems a little bit familiar. May 19th, 1998. The fever is gone, but itchy today. Hungry and eat doggy food. 4//itchy. Tasty. There's more stuck in the note. Yeah, it is that infamous itchy tasty memo. Little throwback there to Resident Evil 1. Right. Toss me over, Chris. I've noticed that if you play as Jill and you go in as Jill, she doesn't comment about being in a dining room. If you're as Chris and you're waiting outside for Jill, she goes, I'm in a dining room. Oh, looky here, I found a weapon I can use.
Kinda takes you back, doesn't it?
To Raccoon City? Unfortunately, yeah. That's where all this started.
Hard to believe that was 8 years ago. I guess I am getting older.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, so there's a little part of the conversation, but you don't get the full conversation, unfortunately. Patrick's memoirs. Ooh.
You take it.
Okay.
There's a password in there, sorry. Skipped out. For a time it appeared if Master Spencer would recover his former health, but fate was not so kind. Now he confines himself to his studies for days on end. It's been ages since I've seen him take meals in the dining hall. I've endeavoured to prepare his meals to his liking, and I bring them every day to study. Unfortunately, he lacks the strength to eat anything but soup and other liquids. I cannot recall a time in the history of this household when the situation was as dire as now. In generations past, the Spencer estate was nexus for only the most well-to-do European socialites. Now only a skeleton staff remains to look after a man who keeps himself in virtual seclusion in one of his many residences. My family has been with the Spencers' household service since the time of his great-grandfather. The rapid state of decline would have been unimaginable, even just one generation prior. I remember fondly the days of my youth, but that seems like a lifetime ago now. It was about 50 years ago, back when my father was the head butler of the household. And that time I was learning his duties in preparation to succeed him, and there was always some chore or errand that would keep me running around the house. I remember how Lord Ashford, another aristocrat from a storied family, and one of Master Spencer's schoolmates, Dr. Marcus, would find refuge from the summer heat at this villa. My father and I would accompany them and do our utmost to see they wanted for nothing. Perhaps because I was the youngest person there, they would take to teasing me, though more often than not they would treat me as one of them. I remember the time Lord Ashford gave me my first taste of brandy. It was on the second floor of the dining hall, behind the stone statues lining the room. I will never forget the mellifluous scent when he opened the bottle. Those cherished times are only memories now. Lord Ashford, Dr. Marcus, and of course my father have already passed on. Only Master Spencer remains, and I'm afraid his days may be few. When Master Spencer dies, it'll mark the end of his illustrious family, as well as my family's service to his. For now I can only wait for the inevitable. Close. Yes, Marcus was the main villain in Resident Evil Zero, and the Lord Ashford that I believe that they're referring to is not Alfred, but his father. We all know what happened to him. Well, that doesn't sound good. Weird noises everywhere. Chris following Jill into the bathroom. He's very rude sometimes. Alright. We have a few things up here. Some piano and some goodies. I've forgotten, as Jill, you have to play the piano as well. Just give me 1 second.
Moonlight Sonata. I remember the last time I played this.
You think you can still play it?
You mean right now? I don't know. It's been a while.
There we go, I did it first time. Usually I mess up a couple of times doing that because the button changes too quickly and I end up kind of making a poop of it. Patrick's Memoirs 2. I cannot stop thinking about the screams of those poor souls imprisoned in the basement. I administered the virus to all of them as per Master Spencer's instructions 1 week ago. However, whatever they've become now, they are no longer human. I have assisted with multiple experiments at Master Spencer's behest. I do not know what use a simple butler not schooled in sciences such as myself can be, but I should be proud that the Master trusts me with this important work. He usually has nothing but contempt or distrust for those around him. However, I cannot help but feel a disconnect between how I think I should feel and the actual mental state. On one hand, I am filled with joy at the chance to assist the Master in any way I can. On the other, I feel as if I'm losing a bit of my soul with each experiment I assist with. The only way I can preserve my mental faculties is by taking time off or trying to divorce myself from all emotion. Whichever the case, I must act and not question the master duty and honor. That is what is at stake. For generations, my family has been loyal to service to Spencer household. I will not betray my duties and I will serve Master Spencer until the end. I have dedicated my life to serving him and there is no turning back on that. It's time to check on the test subjects and report on their current condition to Master Spencer. I will carry out my duties and I will do so honorably. Oh, Patrick seemed like a charming fellow. Very kind indeed. Oh, we have an enemy. We have our first enemy. Ow! Yeah, that was silly. Help me, Chris. Chris! Help me! Thank you. Kinda forgot that he did so much damage. Where's he gone? Let's run away. Oh! Of course, the kick option disappears the moment that I attempt to use it. There we go, he's down. You can just run away from these things, you don't have to fight them, but if you fight them, you get the goodies. So, star, which is extra points and will help towards your rank overall for the thing. Right, so we have the crest that we can now use upon this door. Ooh, birdies. Trying to scare me. Oh, so a thing. Proximity bombs, which will come in very handy. Another star points. And down this again. Goodies and more goodies.
Pick it up.
Roger.
Come on.
Roger.
You take it.
Okay.
Pick it up.
Roger.
Right. What you just saw me do there is one of the things that was added to Resident Evil 5. The ability to instruct your AI partner to do certain things. Right, I kind of want this. I'm going to give this to Chris
Thanks.
so he can combine it. And I'm going to pick up this gun. Put it there. So I have all the weapons. It's not a bad idea, really, to, what am I doing?
Thanks for the help.
Give health items to your AI partner, because they are usually on point with the health items. They're really, really sort of good at coming in healing you when you need to, almost to a fault sometimes, I think. It's child's play. Yeah, almost to a fault sometimes. They can tend to waste her
You haven't
sometimes.
lost your touch.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so there are a few memos scattered around the place here. Spencer memos 1. I, Oswald E. Spencer, founder of Umbrella as well as the chief executive officer, hereby proclaim myself as ruler of all mankind. Of course you do. Everyone shall prostrate themselves before me as they once did for the ancient false gods. At least that's what my destiny should have been. But I did not become a god. I could not sever my ties with my own weak humanity. Instead, my body is being destroyed by this damned disease, this disease of age. It was carved wrinkles upon my face like a well-weathered canyon, and my arms are like thin, withered branches of a dying tree. Age has even deprived me of the use of my legs. The only chance I'll ever have of becoming a god and shaping humanity's destiny is to stop this disease from continuing to ravage my body. I believe that there's a saying about realizing the joys of life when one is at death's doorstep. Sayings like that for the weak who are going to die. They attempt to mask their fears with pithy aphorisms. Mortals can comprehend what life means for those who death is not a concern. The ignorant are fond of making generalizations to include those who would not be party to their pedantic musings. I will undo this unjust travesty done upon me by time, and I will present myself as a perfect being that will rule over mankind. I will give them a new set of commandments to govern their lives. All that remains is to find the key to eternal life. The virus manufactured by Umbrella is that key. It suppresses telomere shortening, which negates the function of limit cell division. Somewhere in that process is the key to immortality. If the process could be perfected, that key would be mine. I have the means available to me. I can realize my ambitions thanks to Alex. I lost much in human capital following Umbrella's bankruptcy, but I still have Alex, the best and brightest of them all, the last of my children. I have faith that if anyone can find a cure for this ailment of time that keeps me assuming my role as the head of mankind, it is Alex. Alex will find a way. Spencer thinks a lot about this Alex. I've done everything Alex has asked of me. Alex's ingenuity far surpasses those of normal people. We wait for appropriate time, gather the necessary materials, and Alex continues to keep the operation running smoothly. Most children are held back by the limits of their own intellects, but not so much with Alex. I've never witnessed anyone so adept with absorbing the talents of others simply by observing them. I could not be more pleased. Alex has displayed superior qualities to everyone else. I've provided everything Alex and the other researchers would ever need to conduct their research: unlimited funding, top-of-the-line equipment, research materials, and an endless supply of test subjects. The only thing wanting is time. They will conduct their research on an isolated island in the South Seas that is home to an abandoned military installation from a nearby country. Alex has already gone there with a group of research assistants, research materials, and hundreds of test subjects. I wait in earnest for good tidings of their research. Instead, I received only a phone call a month later asking me to send more test subjects. How is it possible they'd gone through hundreds of test subjects in only a month? As my frustration rose, Alex attempted to reassure me. You'll be pleased to hear that the experiments are running smoothly, and so I continue to wait. Intriguing. There will be more about that on a later date. I have waited and waited and still no word from the island. It has been a year since they left, and I've sent thousands and thousands of test subjects for their research. As soon as Alex makes an improvement to the virus and the team administers it to another batch of test subjects, unfortunately they do not have the time to study the virus before testing it. If it looks feasible, they proceed forward and see how the test subjects react to it. All of this is to be expected, I suppose. It's not Alex's fault. I have become impatient, true. The situation is dire. Age has not only worn down this worthless shell, but it has also attacked my internal organs and rendered many of them virtually useless. What little functionality I can eke out of them is only thanks to the machines attached to my body. Time is a merciless enemy. I'm counting on you, Alex. Only you can give me the key to eternal life. And the last one is over here. Finally, a report of success. The experiment was a success. The news alone has sent a new surge of energy coursing through my veins. I feel rejuvenated. Last night's dinner even tasted sweeter, the wine more excellent. My butler Patrick is truly a culinary savant. Unfortunately, their joy was short-lived. Alex has disappeared. I were no less concerned if it were the only regrettable report from that island. The other researchers were also nowhere to be found, neither the thousands of test subjects. And more importantly, all the research materials, including the final virus that was to make me a god, cannot be located. I have been betrayed. I have allowed myself to be betrayed again. I should have learned from my mistakes with Albert. Now my life stands on the edge of a knife. The only person I can trust is my loyal butler Patrick. He is my last hope in locating the virus that will cure me of this wretched ailment. But is time on my side? That is the question that preoccupies my mind, and only the god I am to become can answer that question. Well, there was a lot of information about something that we are going to see at some point in the future. I'm not going to give away any spoilers. If you're a fan of the Resident Evil series, you probably by now well know who and what I have been talking about. But we will continue How am I going to find 3 passwords? Right, so we need the passwords. We have 2 of them and a piece of paper, which needs to be burned. So we shall come back this way. And burn the paper in this fire. And it will give us the second password that we can use to access Spencer's computer. And there we go. Patrick Memoirs 3. I've been in Master Spencer's employ for the majority of my adult life. As of late, I find his actions to be inscrutable. For example, he has taken every possible precaution to conceal his whereabouts from the outside world. For what reason, I do not know. One day he asked me to find a certain man and make him aware of the Master's whereabouts. I do not know why he would go to such lengths to contact this man, but perhaps he wanted to see if someone could find him. The man in question is one Mr. Albert Wesker, a name I haven't heard in quite a long time. I only met him once, and that was only 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. I'm ashamed to admit that I cannot recall his face, because as head butler it should be my job to remember people. The reason I believe is because of his eyes, those cold and feeling eyes that completely overshadowed his other features. At any rate, I have endeavoured to get this information into Wesker's hands without letting on that it was Master Spencer's desire to have this information. I know of a certain unscrupulous individual who could put the information on the streets for the right price. He is the kind of man that doesn't care who he talks to. What made the individual I found of such importance is that he is in employ of the female spy who has regular dealings with Wesker. Can you tell who it is yet? Well, the female spy. You should know who that is. I paid this man, I forget his name is Roberto or Ricardo, more than he deserved, and gave him a bare minimum of information necessary to fulfill Master Spencer's wishes. I dutifully carried out Master Spencer's directions to the letter, and it was at this point that the situation took an even more cryptic turn. The Master, he let me go, but I do not know why. I asked him for a reason, the only time I've ever questioned him, but he responded with only silence. I do not know what to do now. I am filled with a sense of loss. Everything I've ever known is gone. I dedicated my entire life to serving the Spencer household, and now that book has been forcibly closed for no apparent reason. The only ones who remain will be those untrustworthy security guards and the people in prison below the premises. I truly doubt the guard's ability to attend to all of Master Spencer's needs. Could it be that he plans on dying? No, he is not that type of man. He would not want to leave all his affairs in such an unfinished state. Master Spencer must have some grand machinations at work that are beyond my affinity to comprehend. At any rate, I can only obey his wishes and take my leave. I will be loyal until the end, even if it breaks my heart to do so. There is another file here. It looks like a list of test subjects. Hans, Felicia, Marco, Jonah, Emma, Ken, Laura, William, Hero, Derek, Miles, Alex, and Albert. The number of candidates has been limited to 13. To the 13 individuals listed above. Do not know what that list refers to. The 2 names at the end should give you a hint. It is the Wesker children.
Shit.
Okay. I'm on it. Give me a second. Quick, the Bufffield is in trouble. We have to rescue the Bufffield. The Bufffield can't get squished into 1,000 pieces. What'll happen?
Get back! I'm gonna shoot the lock. It's open.
Well, that would be mightily inconvenient. There's the star. And get the crank. We shall use the crank behind the stairs to progress to the next level. Underneath in the basement, where there are apparently test subjects and all sorts of creepy things. I shall open it. Chris shall go and get the other one. To let me through. We work in tandem, you see. There we go.